Good morning. Call this meeting of the Bucks County Commissioners of June 2nd, 2021 to order. I'd like to begin by just letting you know that we are having some technical difficulties, so we are operating with one camera today. We also do not have our ASL interpreter here, but they will be back at the next meeting. And Commissioner DiGirolamo is at a funeral and not with us today. So I'd like to begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, and Rob Yoakum, our Assistant Director of Children and Youth, will lead us in the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This is also kind of a new meeting for us. It's the first time we've been able to sit this close now that we've all been vaccinated and all up here together. So, and I see we also have our row officers back. If you'd like to take a minute and introduce yourselves.
Brian Monroe, Clerk of Courts.
Linda Bobber, Register of Wills.
Chris Bellerini, Treasurer.
Judy Reese, Prothonotary.
Thank you. We have several proclamations today, and the first is for Pride Month, and Commissioner Harvey will share that.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Whereas for more than 50 years, the LGBTQ+ community has celebrated Pride events within the month of June, and whereas over that half-century, Pride observances evolved in size and scope from their beginnings as gay liberation marches in major cities like Philadelphia to the days and weeks-long celebrations we recognize today in communities large and small. And whereas these events promote the visibility and acceptance of LGBTQ+ people who have historically been marginalized, ostracized, and abused both here and abroad, at work and at home, in private and in public. And whereas despite immense and important strides toward equality made in recent decades, violence and discrimination continue to loom in the lives of many in the LGBTQ+ community. And whereas Bucks County is proud to be home to the Borough of New Hope, which has long stood as a haven for those who have been made to feel unwelcome elsewhere because of who they are or who they love. And whereas the Rainbow Room in Doylestown and similar organizations perform a critical service in supporting LGBTQ+ youth in Bucks County through education and advocacy. And whereas in solidarity with the LGBTQ+ community and in recognition of the months-long Pride celebration, the county will fly the Pride flag over the administration building courtyard throughout the month of June. Now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim the month of 2021 as LGBTQ+ Pride Month throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we encourage all Bucks County residents to help us celebrate our friends, family, and neighbors in the LGBTQ+ community, and to join us in reaffirming our solidarity with the cause of equality for all marginalized people.
Thank you very much. And here with us today is Priscilla Graystall, as well as Mike and Leon, who she will introduce if you'd like to come on up and accept the proclamation. I don't know if you have a few words you'd like to say. We were just up and we actually raised the flag, and so we're welcoming you inside now to talk a little bit about that.
Sure.
At the podium.
Okay, sure.
Happy to. Good morning. My name is Priscilla Gray-Stoll, and I'm a resident of Bucks County. I live and work in Percy, and I am absolutely delighted to be here. I'm standing in for Marlene Prey, who is the director of the Rainbow Room. I'm a volunteer at the Rainbow Room. Marlene is teaching at Penn today, so she cannot be here, but I'm so proud to be here. I want to tell you a little bit about the Rainbow Room, but before I do want to say that since you mentioned New Hope, 40 years ago, I've lived in Bucks County less than a decade. 40 years ago, I traveled to New Hope many a time with my friends and family to enjoy that wonderful vibe that New Hope gave us that we didn't get where we lived on Long Island. So boy, oh boy, here it is 40 years later, and here I am standing here. Not sure that I can believe that, but yay. The Rainbow Room was opened 20 years ago this month by Marlene and continues to strive as Bucks County's Center for Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, Queer, and Other Aligned Youth. We provide age-appropriate, queer, inclusive sexuality education, advocacy, and recreation for youth from the ages of 14 to 21 from across the Bucks County area. Our first ever queer prom, thrilling, very wonderful, many of you were there, happened last year, and it welcomed over 150 youth from over 57 different school districts. And it was at the extraordinary Michener Art Museum, and it was quite an event, and we look forward to more. We partner with dozens of community partners, schools, families, organizations, and leaders, and most importantly, young people. We're working for the community, for the schools to be more inclusive, and a world where LGBTQ plus youth are valued, uplifted, protected, celebrated, and loved, and very much loved. Happy Pride.
Morning. I'm a recent college graduate and a 2017 Penridge alum and current Rainbow Room youth. My name is Leon. I haven't lived here, also haven't lived here up to 10 years in Percy. I originally moved from Arizona and came here, but it's been crazy. Like, without the Rainbow Room, honestly, no offense to the school district, I learned like so much. All my sex education, everything comes from the Rainbow Room. So it's a really important resource. And my senior capstone project this year was about the importance of queer youth organizations, especially in rural communities. So thank you so much for having this pride, for continuing to support the Rainbow Room and other organizations like it, such as Roedig for younger youth. This, for me, this feels like symbolic. Obviously, I'm one of like 4 Black people in the room. Every time I go somewhere, I can kind of just count. And especially when it comes to the intersection with being queer and being Black and being African on my part specifically, it's very difficult. There's a lot of unique challenges with that intersection of class and race that a lot of people, whether they're queer or not, they kind of forget about. And so I want to remind everyone that there is that intersection, that it does exist, and it's not just a matter of portraying love and acceptance, but also enacting different policies that reinforce that. And of course, there already are some of those in this county, which I'm very grateful for, and I enjoy living here for that reason. So thank you so much for this. I hope that all of this also motivates you to go on and spread this message to other people, and that you take it in your heart when you're going and encountering people who are different from you, and that it's not just for pride or for like lesbians or for gay people or trans people, but also for people of all differences.
Hi, my name's Michael Kendrick. I live in New Britain Borough, and I'm extremely involved in Doylestown. Been coming to Pride for years. I've been with my husband 34 years. We married 5 years ago, and we were married by Ron Strauss the first week we were allowed to. I was saying last night that it was interesting. I lived in Lancaster County, went to New York, Westchester County, came down here, and it's amazing that I can get married now, but I can still be thrown out of my home and my employment in this state. So we hope that some of the stuff that the senator was saying last night can be enacted so we can be equal in every way. We were just thrilled that finally we could put up a new progressive flag, much more inclusive. And if you go to Doylestown Pride, you'll see We have, well, with the pandemic, we weren't sure what we could pull off. Hopefully next year we'll have a big block party and get 5,000 people again. But we have 2 movies, check those out. I have drag queens coming to brunch at Genevieve's Kitchen. I have an author that's gay romance, different events. Mark Siegel, who is one of the original Stonewallers, will be on a video with Salem Church. So I hope everybody feels involved and can be involved in checking our site out. And thank you, everybody, for honoring Pride.
Slide down, but we'll do this and we'll take a picture. Thank you. Thanks for celebrating with us. Thank you. And Commissioner Harvey will next do the Jesse Hill Day proclamation.
Sure. I believe at the last meeting made reference to a gentleman named Jesse Hill who passed away. For anybody involved in any kind of Veterans Affairs in Bucks County, Jesse Hill's name is one that they've known for close to 4 decades. One of the founders of the Delaware Valley Vietnam Veterans, an organization that advocates for mental health and physical health, and recognition of the sacrifices Vietnam veterans gave for this country, not just overseas, but even when they came home. On the 11th, 12th, and 13th of this month, the Delaware Valley Vietnam Veterans will have their Memorial Flag Program in Falls Township Community Park, which they've had for close to 40 years. They did not have it last year, obviously, but it is an incredibly impressive celebration of all the lives that were lost in Vietnam and some of the war since. And so all 3 commissioners knew Jesse well through the years and appreciated his passion for fighting for veterans. And so we wanted to make this proclamation for him, which we will read again on June 13th. Whereas Jesse Earl Hill Jr., a local icon of veterans advocacy, was born in 1948 in Philadelphia and later chose Levittown, Bucks County as his home. And whereas Hill served in the U.S. Army during the Vietnam War, an experience that forever shaped him and defined his path in civilian life. Whereas never having forgotten the shameful greeting from protesters he received upon his return from military service, Hill worked to ensure no other veteran endured the same, and personally welcomed home innumerable veterans with a handshake and a hug. And whereas throughout his life, and even as his health failed, Hill remained active in veterans organizations, including the Philadelphia Vietnam Veterans Memorial Society, the VFW, American Legion, Chapel of 4 Chaplains, and the Bristol Township-based Delaware Valley Vietnam Veterans, DV3, of which he was a founding member. And whereas Hill championed the remembrance of service members killed and still missing as a result of the Vietnam War, and served as a chief organizer behind Memorial Day and Veterans Day events in their honor. And whereas among the events he helped establish was the annual DV3 Flag Memorial, a patriotic display of more than 60,000 American flags planted in tribute to the sacrifices of those he served alongside. And whereas Hill died April 29th, 2021, leaving to this world a loving family and an unrivaled level of advocacy, kindness, and respect for service and country that lives on in each of the thousands of veterans whose lives he touched. Now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Board of Commissioners, hereby proclaim June 13th, 2021 as Jesse Hill Day throughout the County of Bucks. In doing so, we join all Bucks County residents in celebrating Hill's lifetime of service to his country and to his fellow veterans, for whose benefit he fought tirelessly from the moment he returned home from war until his final breath.
Thank you.
And we'll present this to his family and to his friends on the 13th at that event.
Thanks very much, Commissioner. Next, we'd like to invite Evan Stone and Mike Roedig of our Planning Commission up. They're going to talk about the Bucks County 2040 Comprehensive Plan Survey. Yes, 2040, so if I'm still alive, I'll be 80. So I'm very excited to hear about this.
We don't want to think about that.
No, we don't want to think about that.
Good morning. Thank you for having us. We are indeed very excited to be able to launch today the Bucks 2040 Comprehensive Plan Update. for the county. Everything you'll need to know you can find at bucs2040.com, the portal that we have set up. With me this morning is Mike Roedig, our Director of Community Planning, and as he is going to be the project manager and principal architect of the plan for our group, I'm going to turn the mic over to him and let him talk a little bit more about the plan and the photo contest and the survey.
Great. Thanks, Evan.
Thank you.
Good morning. We are very excited to begin the new County Comprehensive Plan, Bucs 2040. As you may know, comprehensive plans are required to be updated every 10 years. That's a requirement of the Pennsylvania Municipalities Planning Code. We're a little bit behind in order to meet our 10-year deadline since our last comprehensive plan was adopted in 2011. But we think that's to our advantage since the census is only coming out with their numbers later this year. So we'll have that census data in hand, and hopefully we'll have a plan ready at some time at the end of 2022 for adoption. So this, with Bucs 2040, what we've decided to do is take a little bit of a different tact. It's going to be a change in our comprehensive planning process. Typically with comprehensive plans, it's more of a top-down process where a planning commission, like ourselves, or a consultant, will be hired to develop this plan, to generate public comment on it, develop studies, and with this comprehensive plan, we're going to sort of flip that, and we're going to make it more of a bottom-up process. So this will be an implementable plan, what's known as an implementable plan, and this will be more issue and action oriented. So we're going to really reach out to the community, get their opinions on what they think is important about Bucks County, what they think is, what their preferred vision of the future of Bucks County is. And we're going to allow those residents and we're going to allow those public officials to tell us what's important, what needs to be fixed in the county, and where we need to go. So we're going to accomplish that through a couple different means. We have our resident survey. We have hired a consultant to conduct a resident survey. It's a sampled survey, so only, I guess, a sample of surveys have been sent out to Bucks County communities. It is representative, though, so we made sure that the various regions of the county are represented in this survey. If residents don't receive a survey and they'd still like to give their opinions on what they think the future of Bucks County should be, they are still welcome to email us at the Bucs 2040 email address, and they can give us comments and ask us questions, and that'll provide an opportunity for everybody to give their input on this new comprehensive plan. In 2 weeks, we're going to have our first community partner meeting. It's essentially a workshop with municipal officials, administrators, elected officials, planning commission members, and we're going to be asking them what's going on in their communities, what they think is important, and what they think the future of Bucks County should be, at least on a municipal level. As Evan mentioned, we've also started the bucs2040.com website. That's being rolled out. That's available right now. That'll have content on that site in terms of what an implementable comprehensive plan, a timeline in terms of what our project benchmarks are, and it also has details on the photo contest that we'll be running from now until November. We have 7 different categories, a couple different prizes for each category, along with 1 grand prize. This photo contest is really aimed at any amateur photographer, and essentially what we want you to do is go out into your community, go out into your neighborhood, and tell us, through photographs, what you think is important about Bucks County, and what types of things that you value about Bucks County. That'll be really interesting. Certainly we're looking for all different types of photos, anything from a local scenic vista to a natural resource that you value, to something in your neighborhood or maybe something in your backyard. So yeah, we're very excited to begin the Bucs 2040 comprehensive plan, and we are looking forward to hearing everybody's ideas on building a better future for Bucks County. Thank you.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, I'm excited to get it started.
Yeah.
Just for the record, I think we were late the last time, too, so don't worry.
It's what we do here. It's just a regular.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. We are going to watch, because this is Child Welfare Professionals a week throughout the county and the country, we are going to watch a video. It is several minutes long, but we think it's important for everyone here and at home to be able to watch this. And then we have a proclamation.
From an outsider perspective, I thought I was going to come and save the world.
I love it. Some days a little more than others, but I always at least like it. Because we have the opportunity every day to be something different for these people.
Every family has their struggles, but every family is trying to do the best that they can.
Living with my mom wasn't all bad. You know, yeah, she had some anger problems which she needed to work on, but not every family is perfect.
The stereotype is that the families we serve are inner city, very poor. The reality is that they are from all walks of life.
I had the perfect life, and it completely fell apart the day that they took my kids.
The hardest moment is when you have to pull a child off of their parents. Even when you know that it is the right thing to do at the time, and you know that it is for their best interest, they don't know that, and it's horrible.
Like, my mom had her good days and her bad days where the abuse was just too much for a child.
There's no worse feeling than ripping a screaming kid off of their mom or dad.
I stood for probably 2.5 hours in my front yard at midnight fighting them to not take my kids.
There's no way to ever feel good about yourself when you leave work that day. As a person, I think you would definitely break down and have a moment. I think the moment that you stop having those moments of caving is when you need to leave and when you need to get out.
I wasn't prepared to see so many young mothers with so many children that don't have the supports of their father or the fathers of their children, who are living in rodent or roach-infested homes, children who have been victims of sexual abuse. You can't unsee and unlearn and unexperience the relationships that you build with people, and you can't help but be affected by their lives.
My caseworker, I was very hard on her. I was very angry.
In any situation, there has to always be one person that is cool, calm, and collect, and that always has to be you. That always has to be the caseworker. You can never let yourself get out of control, because once you have the situation, that's lost control.
Screaming, yelling, challenging.
The parents are a main component. If we don't have them as an ally and we're not helping to advocate for them, we can't get to the kids.
I didn't have nobody to turn to. I was over maybe 15, 16 homes. That's including group homes, foster families, residential treatment facilities, independent living homes. Somebody should have been fighting, but when the system is overpopulated with kids, I just got the short end of the stick and just was blown off about it.
We are supposed to typically have between 10 to 15 cases. We're usually running about between 20 and 30. My family becomes second to strangers a lot. And that's kind of when you first meet your partner or your spouse, that's kind of one of the first things you tell them is, you will not be first, probably for the majority of our lives together. That, strangers and their kids will be first.
Every day is different. You can make lots and lots of plans, but your day is highly dependent upon what's going on with your families.
We do everything. Urine screens. You go in and watch people pee to see if they're hot for a urine test. Lots of paperwork, safety assessments, risk assessments, structured case notes, safety plans. You do present danger checklists when you go in to see a family. You do home checks, home studies, transport families to appointments, transport them to their jobs, transport kids to school. You do school visits, team meetings. I know lots of us have been spit on, called lots of colorful names, threats to our families, threats to our vehicles. And there's people that's definitely not pleased that we're in their lives and in their business and trying to find out what's going on with their children.
The second caseworker really stepped up and she did her job. And she says, listen, I'm here, I need to be on your side.
Keeping a family together is our number one goal, and that's the best feeling, is to be able to keep them together.
There are enough rewards in the job that it keeps people focused. It's okay if you don't see change today or tomorrow, it will come. And there are times when you don't see it. You know you've done the best that you can, and you hope that what you've done has made an impact in the future.
I lost my house along with my daughter. I had nowhere to live, so I went and lived with my brother and my mother. And at that point, I realized what a positive influence my caseworker was being.
You do it because you know that you're going to plant a seed, because you know that they may not thank you now, they may not reap the benefits of whatever that you're helping them do now, but you planted a seed to make a difference. And you may have said one thing that they've never heard before, and they'll remember that 10 years from now, and that may be where they draw their strength from to get better.
There have been some very low lows. We are now almost 2.5 years later. I lost everything. And to rise up and to slowly start rebuilding that feels amazing.
I never had a person tell me that they actually wanted me to succeed, and when I actually did good, tell me that they're proud of me. It's those things the kid always wants to hear, because you don't always hear it from your parents.
If you have a need to help someone and a need to make a difference in your community, you will definitely feel that. Not necessarily all the time, but a lot of times you will feel that reward.
I am by far a more well-rounded, accepting, and patient person because of the work that I do. Not necessarily because those were all the skills that I brought to the job whenever I started here.
I'm very thankful for the people who are from children and youth who are in my lives. And I've met some amazing people there who want to do good and want to make things change. And change is always good.
I definitely think they're the reasons why I'm so successful now. I graduated from college. I had my high school diploma as well as my associate's degree in criminal justice. I'm working on my bachelor's degree now in homeland security. I think I definitely came a long way. I'm very driven and have the ability to be more. So watch out for president, gotta be the first woman.
It's not about you, and it's not about being thanked, and it's not about being this, martyr, this person that saves everybody. If you're coming into this to fulfill your own needs of feeling like you're this great Mother Teresa, then you need to get out, because that's gonna fade real quick too.
This job has changed me. Families and children need you, because it is noble work that we do, and it means a lot to a lot of people.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Proclamation. And whereas the week of June 7th through 11th, 2021 has been proclaimed as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week by Governor Wolf in recognition of the efforts of child welfare professionals serving the children of Pennsylvania. And whereas every day in Bucks County, local children are at risk of child abuse and neglect or have been removed from their homes due to such abuse and neglect. And whereas the challenging tasks that fall to child welfare professionals include investigating child abuse, providing services to families, assessing safety, and ensuring the children of Bucks County receive nurturance, family connections, support as they transition into adulthood, and services that allow them to remain safely at home or return home as expeditiously as possible. And whereas the work of child welfare professionals in Bucks County has been made even more challenging during the global pandemic, requiring them to act as frontline essential workers to serve families despite the risk to their health and safety. And whereas the caseworkers and social workers of Bucks County Children and Youth Social Service Agency assisted approximately 3,300 children and 1,800 families from July 2020 to May 2021, supporting about 260 children in foster care and providing permanency through adoption for 49 children. And whereas the professionals of Bucks County must develop substantial knowledge and skills surrounding the rights of families, the laws surrounding child welfare, and the legal process governing the system. And whereas the employees of Bucks County Children and Youth selflessly protect children, often working long, demanding hours amid tremendous demands and little appreciation, and through these efforts avert innumerable injuries and deaths of children. So now, therefore, do we, the Bucks County Commissioners, proclaim June 7th through 11th, 2021 as Child Welfare Professionals Appreciation Week throughout the County of Bucks, and in so doing, we express our gratitude and admiration for the important and difficult work performed each day by the excellent professionals at the Bucks County Children and Youth Social Service Agency. And I assume Marge McEwen is here to accept the proclamation. And if you'd like to say a few words, please come up.
Good morning, everyone. I want to thank you all from the bottom of my heart for what you do for us and for the support you've given us through budget, through emotional support, for being there with us. I know you understand what we do. I know you've tried to get more information, meet with us, come around, be with us all the time. And I just want to thank you for what you do, and I want to thank my staff who have worked through a pandemic and who work through some really difficult times in other areas that they all know about. Thank you.
Thank you. Would you all like to come up and be in the picture? Don't leave Marge all by herself up here.
You don't do that.
Oh, I'll take you. So you have a 52 years employed person here. Imagine that kind of case.
Thank you.
Thank you. As you're going back to your seats, I wanted to take this opportunity, as we are talking about child welfare, to first and foremost thank all of you, thank Marge, thank Rob, and all the social workers and caseworkers at Children and Youth. These are people who rise every day and come to work with a positive attitude and a professional manner, even when they are dealing with situations on a daily basis that are ugly and difficult and stressful and complex and intricate. Everyone in here is a member of a family, so we can all imagine how we would feel if somebody made an accusation and we found out, whether we did something wrong or not, that we were being investigated. And if we learned that that investigation was because of an impact we'd have on a child, we'd probably be shocked and embarrassed, maybe relieved, confused and frightened. But we've all also been children, and we all understand that families of origin make mistakes. And we understand that those mistakes can be life-impacting and life-changing, and they can leave permanent scars. So we as a country and as a county have employed caseworkers and social workers to navigate this difficult world of child abuse and neglect in order to find the truth behind the accusations and to assess the degree when there's an offense. We then ask them to separate families when necessary and work until healing can happen to come back together or to find a forever family for a child. Other times we ask them to keep families together and work on goals that will keep everybody safe. This is hard work. It is challenging work. Make no mistake about it. This is first responder work. And that is why we provide rigorous training and retraining to our caseworkers and social workers, like all first responders, and why we demand that they be given the support and respect that they deserve. But today, I want to highlight something that we've been hearing from our caseworkers, that the toughest obstacle they've been facing to do their job and their primary source of stress is going to court. I want our workers to know that the commissioners have listened to them. We are aware that you feel bullied and you feel traumatized almost every time you are in a dependency hearing. I want you to know that we know that the recommendations you make and the decisions you make are based on facts, your education, your training, your knowledge on the job. And we understand that those decisions and those recommendations should not be cast aside because of a lack of respect or a lack of knowledge or because of a judge's opinion doesn't agree with you. We hear you, we see you, and we appreciate you. And it breaks our hearts that the biggest reason caseworkers are leaving children and youth every day is because they can no longer face a courtroom. I want you to go back and tell the caseworkers that they are valued, that we have tried for 6 years to get this situation in the court corrected. To no avail, we have repeatedly tried to convince the courts that they need to put an end to the one-judge monopoly and the atmosphere of cruelty in dependency matters. But that experiment has failed. Please assure the workers that we know where the problem lies, and it is not with them. We have their backs, and we have the backs of the children of Bucks County, and we will keep working until the workers and the children of this county are treated with the dignity, respect, and fairness that justice requires. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to move on to brief public comments. This is on agenda items. This will be the final time, hopefully, that we have to do these online, but are there any public comments online?
No, Commissioner.
Okay, so that'll be the last time, too. Are there any public comments in the room? Seeing none, we will move on to our resolutions. Is there a motion to approve the items on the consent agenda, including the minutes of the May 19th, 2021 meeting? So moved on items 1 through 11F, and I will second that. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All those opposed? They pass, and we will move to the regular agenda. The first item on the regular agenda, this is a revenue item from the U.S. Department of Treasury. We will approve to accept the funds from the American Rescue Plan Act of 2021 in the amount of $61,017,041. I don't know if the COO had anything you wanted to add to that, or the treasurer. It's safely in the bank.
It is safely in the bank.
It is safely in the bank.
This is our first allotment of $61 million. We will get our second later in the year. We are working towards developing a plan with our nonprofit social services providers. We are also looking at some options with partnering with our municipalities, also looking at how to use these funds to help our businesses, all decisions that the commissioners will have to make very soon.
Yeah. Well, we're ready to jump in on that one. Any questions on that?
Nope.
Okay, and the next item is all with Workforce and Economic Development. These are all contracts with the Pennsylvania Department of Labor and Industry, Bureau of Workforce Development Administration in Harrisburg. The first is revenue in $30,000 to approve the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act grants for funds for training program for individuals with barriers to employment, and this runs January 2021 through June 2021. The second is a did I say that was in 30,000? And the next is $986,126.72 to approve the Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act grant funds for dislocated workers. And this ran October 1st, 2019 through June 30th, 2021. And finally, a revenue of $229,080 to approve the contract to provide funding for the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families TANF program, July 1st, 2019 to June 30th, 2021. And we have Billy Barnes with us to talk about this.
Exactly, and just a few things I would like to point out. The $30,000 here is a grant. It's not a part of our normal formula funds. We actually requested this money. Sometimes the state has extra money, and whenever they have extra money, I'm always asking. So that $30,000 was awarded to us recently, and that will specifically serve adults in Bucks County who have barriers to employment. So you think low income, chronically unemployed, underemployed, reentrants, older adults. We will spend that money on training. The other two grants, the $986,000 and the $229,000, the $986,000 is specifically a WIOA-funded grant, funded for dislocated workers. You think you've lost your job, you're currently collecting unemployment, that money will go for training, on-the-job training, training for credentials and skills upgrades, training and job placement. The $229,000, that is specifically for the TANF population. We awarded Bucks County Community College a procured RFP. They applied, they got the money, and they will be serving youth, in-school youth. That's specifically for ages 14 to 21, and they will be responsible for spending that money.
Terrific. Questions?
Nope, I've good familiarity with the TANF program.
Great. Keep reaching in there and keep looking for stuff. So
That's right.
We appreciate that.
Excellent. And before I go, while I have a captive audience, I'm going to use this opportunity. We are sponsoring what we're calling WED Talks, right? It's a play on TED Talks, Workforce and Economic Development, over the course of the next year. Each month, we'll be presenting webinars. We are, in conjunction with the Career Link, we will be presenting webinars to employers, and this is invaluable information to our business community. Our first webinar is next week, and I will get everyone on the distribution list if you're not. And that webinar is going to be talking about trauma and how trauma affects employee retention. And we have someone from the governor's office, Dan German. He is the executive director of, I want to get this right, he's the executive director of advocacy and reform for Governor Wolf. So the idea is for us to have dynamic speakers, subject matter experts that are going to be engaging, and that will keep our employers coming back to hear what's next. The following month, for July, we have Ron Davis from Parks Casino, and Ron will be speaking about diversity and inclusivity in the workplace. Not only how you achieve it, but why it's important. For August, we have, I'm not sure if I should reveal this or not. I don't know if everybody knows this, but we did have Secretary Wetzel planned to speak for corrections, PA Corrections. He's the Secretary of Corrections. But he is stepping down, so we have his replacement that will be speaking, and he will be speaking about why it's important to hire reentrants and to give them a second chance, why it's a good thing for the community, but why it's a good thing for employers as well. So we have the first three speakers lined up. You're going to have to tune in to find out who's going to be coming up for the next months, but it's going to be very informative, and I hope you all join me.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So is there a motion to approve 12 through 13C on the regular agenda?
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor? Aye. Opposed? And budget adjustments. Mr. Bascola?
Thank you, Commissioners. For your consideration today, two 2021 budget adjustments, number 11 and 12. Number 11 refers to item number 12A that was just approved on the agenda. Under the American Rescue Plan, we received $61 million in revenue. Although we do have that $61 million in cash, and Adjustment 11 sets up a base budget to move forward items that are going to be eligible under the plan. It gives the commissioners some time this year to establish their priorities and what we're going to be spending. the money on. There's plenty of time for the balance of this year to adjust this to further whatever priorities that you may have, and that can be adjusted according to how we spend the money. There's 3.5 years to expend the total $122 million. So we will be appropriately budgeting money this year, and in 2022, 23, and 24 money as the priorities are set and the time frame for spending that money is established. Adjustment number 12 refers to items 11C, D, E, and 13A that the commissioners just approved on the agenda. They are new revenue items under Workforce and Economic Development that were not budgeted in the 2021 budget. So adjusting the recognition of the revenue and the expense for those 4 grants, and neither of these adjustments has any impact on the general fund.
Any questions? Okay, is there a motion to approve budget adjustment 11 and 12?
So moved.
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Personnel actions. Is there a motion to approve the personnel actions for today?
So moved.
Okay, I'll second. Any questions on these?
Sensing a pattern.
I know, I'm sort of missing Jean. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Do we have any board appointments today?
Yes, we do. We have for the Solid Waste Advisory Committee, we have a number of reappointments and 2 new appointments. All of them are 2 years. All of them will end on June 6th, 2023. And so I'll go through the names here. Randy Elton, Gretchen Schatzschneider, Deanna Miller, Jay McLaughlin, David Newman, Peter Palestina, Charles Raudenbush, Angela Benner, Michael Dougherty, Evan Stone are the reappointments, and new appointments are Mr. Robert Jones and Mr. Dave Cuccinell.
Is that in the form of a motion?
Yes, it is.
And I'll second that. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. And other civics? Commissioner Harvey, do you have any other civics?
I have a couple. For Drummers with Attitude, I'll make a motion to donate $2,000.
Okay, and I would like to add our annual contribution to Big Brothers Big Sisters in the amount of $12,000, and for Bucs for Kids, our annual $3,000 contribution.
And I have also one for fire professionals aiding children for $3,200.
So I am going to second yours for the fire professionals and Drummers with Attitude.
I'll second yours.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay. Now moving on to the Chief Operating Officer's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just a quick COVID update. I just want to thank the staff and the residents of Bucks County who have received their vaccinations. We are steadily marching toward that state goal of 70%. For those who still want the vaccine, who haven't gotten it yet, our clinics are still open. They're by no appointment. You can walk in whenever you like, between 11 and 7, Tuesday through Saturday. The Community College Upper Bucks campus at Percy and Newtown are still open, and Jamison and Neshaminy Mall. The Lower Bucks facility has closed, and the Percy and Newtown campuses will close the end of this month. They'll do second shots in July, but they'll be closed to first shots. If you need to get your second shot, you can go to any of those clinics as well. And if you need a ride, please contact the Bucks County Transport Office. They will take you there for free, and you'll just need to call them and set up an appointment. The County Health Department is going to still continue community outreach through education. They'll have some pop-up clinics throughout the summer. They will also continue the homebound effort as well. And we're hoping that they reach folks that have not been vaccinated fairly soon. We have a few events coming up. We have the Senior Games, the 2021 Senior Games that takes place across Bucks County. I know you heard about it I think it was the last meeting from Kathy Bennett. But they are June 7th to the 19th. And if you would like to register, please go to their website. You can download the form, you can fill it out online, or if you need help, just call their office. We also have our Household Hazardous Waste event on June 26th at the Central Bucks South High School. That's on Folly Road in Warrington. Registration is still required. It is bucks.hhw.eventbrite.com. I assume we'll end that sometime in the future, Evan, right? Okay. But for now, we are still registering since we had already set it up prior to COVID restrictions being lifted. And then one last item. Our County Parks and Recreation Department is looking for summer help, and particularly in our pools and lifeguards. So if you know someone or you have those credentials, please, 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 if you're interested, you can apply online or you can contact our HR department for assistance as well. And that concludes my report.
Thank you very much. And the solicitor's report.
Thank you, Commissioner. Just two quick items. First, to report out our executive sessions. The commissioners, the chief operating officer, and the solicitor have a standing Tuesday executive session prior to public meetings. In addition to that meeting this week, there was an executive session that occurred on Friday. These were all just to discuss pending or potential litigation as well as employment matters. Following that, I'm happy to report on Child Welfare Professional Appreciation Week. Today, the Salary Board, with the strong support of not only the commissioners, but the county controller, approved the creation of a new assistant solicitor position, which for the first time will enable the law department to do its part in supporting the important work of the Children and Youth Agency as they do the very difficult work of supporting children in Bucks County, particularly with respect to court hearings and other legal matters. Thank you.
And do we have any brief public comments online or anything for today?
No, Commissioner.
You know what, I forgot about both of our commissioner comments. I was doing it backwards. That's okay. So we'll check again in a minute. It's Commissioner Harvey.
Just a couple things just to piggyback off of Ms. McKevitt's comments. So far in Bucks County, about 60%, a little more than 60% of people in Bucks County ages 12 and up have gotten at least their first shot. So that's obviously very good news. I know that the two major vaccines, Pfizer and Moderna, are both on the verge of getting full FDA approval, which we hope will get people who are maybe a little hesitant to come out to go to get a vaccine. I do know in driving past an Acme here in Doylestown this morning that there'd be a giant banner up, free COVID-19 vaccine here. It's really one of the main reasons why we're able to sort of start closing down some of our clinics is because we're getting now to the point where the vaccine is in a lot of places. It's not just trickling out anymore, and it's really a flood at this point. So we want to encourage people. We know that numbers are dropping, and obviously that's great news. Hospitalizations are way down, which is great news. But we do know that this is a virus that does tend to flourish in the fall and winter. And so we're hoping, as a lot of people are hoping, that people will take advantage of the good weather and the ubiquitousness of the vaccine and go out and get a vaccine so they can be protected from here on out. And I just want to touch on a couple of things. First off, sympathies to the DiGirolamo family. Again, Commissioner DiGirolamo not here today due to his need to attend a family funeral. So we obviously send our thoughts and prayers to his family. And we had Memorial Day, obviously, just a few days ago, and Flag Day coming up. We pledge allegiance to the flag here before every meeting. And I often think about the fact that between being a student and being a teacher for 26 years and then leading or being an elected official for as long as I've been an elected official and attending all kinds of activities, I don't really know how many people have pledged allegiance to the flag more than me. Probably not a lot of people, but it's something. It was an everyday activity for a long time, and with the flag, of course, and Memorial Day, it's combining that in terms of our discussions on diversity, and last month celebrating Asia and Pacific Islanders. This month, with the LGBTQ plus pride, I think it's well to remember that of the roughly 1 million men and women who lost their lives building and protecting and defending this country since 1775, they represented every color, orientation, religion, race, gender you could imagine. And when they gave that sacrifice, they didn't, in their minds, think, well, I'm only doing this to protect people like me. I'm only giving this sacrifice because I'm concerned about the people who look like me, think like me, act like me, etc. They died for all of us. And so while we're pledging to the flag and while we're celebrating it and Memorial Day, let's maybe in our hearts start realizing that it's good to honor everybody living, not just those who've passed, regardless of their gender, orientation, and their race and ethnicity and background and anything else, socioeconomic status, political party, is all irrelevant, quite frankly. We need to do a better job, I think, in this country, my personal opinion, of respecting each other and recognizing that we share a lot more in common than we have differences. And the overwhelming, obviously Americans love their country. I know we do have people who like to believe that a certain political persuasion love their country more than the other, which is offensive, quite frankly, to those who are in the other political persuasion. But everybody loves their country, and all of us want it to be the best it can be. How we get there is where the differences come in, but that's something I think that all of us need to pay more attention to and hope that we do. So, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I just have a brief comment. I'm sure that you have all noticed that we all wore the same tie today, and so did some of the people in the audience. And I admit I had to put it over my head. So I don't really know how to do this, but one of the reasons we did this was because of Pride Week, but also because we have a diversity officer that we brought on to make sure that we do respect and honor everyone. But he donated all of these ties to us so that we could all celebrate Pride Month together. So thank you, Bernard Griggs, for doing that for us. And now we're going to double back and see if there are any more public comments online.
There are none.
Are there any public comments in the audience? Seeing none, is there a motion for adjournment?
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Stand adjourned.